Good morning to all. Thanks for tuning in to this live session. So it is a great day after celebrating our 75 years of our independence, and we are entering into 76th year. So it's a proud moment for me to have a guest who had been a successful entrepreneur in Chennai startup ecosystem. So today's session is more about a live interaction where I will be having with my guest, Mr. Shyam, who is the founder and CEO of GoFloaters. So thanks Shyam for tuning in to this live session. So this session I'm just aiming to give exposure to the entrepreneurs who are in Chennai and in Tamil Nadu on pan India basis, where they are having a struggle to how they can able to take up their business to the next level in terms of sales and in terms of complete entrepreneurship. Thank you for tuning in. So I'll give a quick intro about Shyam. Shyam is a first generation entrepreneur. He has gone into entrepreneurship after 18 years of his various leadership skills in various IT MNCs. So I'm proud to say that he is an IITN, yeah, and he is a Fulbright scholar. So I know Shyam personally because we both graduated together from startup incubator called Founder Institute. So it's a Silicon Valley based founder incubator, startup incubator. So they have got units all over the world. So we both graduated from Chennai. Chennai, we have got a chapter. Chennai chapter is there. So where there are directors like Gopi Metal, who is spearheading the operation Chennai. So we are proud to say that we have a startup incubator in Chennai who can nurture startup founders who doesn't have any background as such, who are working from a working background, and they give the complete A to Z of how we can able to set up right from ideation stage to product development to pricing and then go to market strategy. So I think currently we have got a batch which is getting rolled out this month specifically. If you are someone is you are interested, you can just message me in the comment section, so I can personally send you an invite to join in the current batch of Founder Institute's graduation program. So that's an introduction about me knowing Shyam, as we both graduated in the same Founder Institute graduate. So let me introduce about his startup called GoFloaters. GoFloaters is a platform wherein we can any startup owner or any founder can able to utilize an office space at the convenience of his time and his location. So as a startup founder, even when I start up my startup, so Namcare, so I wanted a place which will be more convenient for my employees to come and have a training. So Shyam helped me at that point. I'm talking about 2016, 2017, where he launched. I graduated in 2016. I think 2017 he launched GoFloaters. In 2017, I had a lot of meetings organized for my company employees through GoFloaters space, office space requirement. So I had around 2 to 3 trainings for my office staff. So it was beautifully organized. So wherein we make a request to the platform for booking that slot, and the complete arrangements is being made by the GoFloaters team. So I'm a proud customer of GoFloaters in the initial stages. So now also I utilized last few months back also I utilized a startup space in Gindi for arranging a meeting for a corporate meeting. So GoFloaters is a platform wherein we can able to utilize all the office space at the convenience of your location at your time. So GoFloaters has been recognized by various publications like Forbes, US Story, and Business World. Recently, GoFloaters has got a funding from TANSEED grant. That's as you all know, Tamil Nadu government has introduced a funding scheme called TANSIM. So wherein they evaluate the startups, their traction, and then they select a few startups and give a funding requirement. So I'm proud to say that Shyam has got his seed funding as well. So that's the introduction about Shyam and about his startup GoFloaters. Now let me get into the interaction of today's live session. Shyam, so I just wanted to ask you a question like, when did this entrepreneur bug bite you? Like, I believe you're working in various companies and IT professional as an IT business leader. So please tell us about your background and how you ventured into this startup ecosystem as an entrepreneur. So please go ahead,
Sure.
Shyam.
Hey, thanks, Nabi, for hosting me, and thanks for the kind introductions and gracious words that you've showered on me. And I would also kind of say I'm a proud FI Founder Institute graduate, and it's been very foundational and instrumental to my journey, right? And I can touch upon some of that and how that's helped through the interaction, right? So,
Sure.
so first and foremost, I think at heart, I was I'm a technologist, right? So kind of using
Right.
technology or learning new technology and applying that has been something that I've been doing through my corporate career as well, right?
Right.
And at some point in time, I mean, more than the fancy of the technology itself, I started to kind of look at what kind of business problems can I solve with technology, right? So the pursuit from a technology pursuit, it became business problem pursuit and trying to use my knowledge and skills as a technologist to kind of solve that, right?
Right.
So my various roles that got exposed me to different business problems, different user problems, kind of got excited me into looking at the holistic view of the problem and solving that, right? And fortunately, I
Okay.
got a lot of opportunities within the MNCs that I worked in, where I got to become an entrepreneur at one of the MNCs, where I built a product from scratch. We took it to the market. Literally, I was living out of the suitcase, traveling to Philippines, traveling to Indonesia, traveling to Thailand, to all sorts of Southeast Asian countries to kind of sell the solution to insurance companies there, right? So this entire so this kind of was quite interesting to me, right? Because you're not only you're now understanding the problem of the customer, forecasting what it would look like in a few years from then, and then dream up a solution, build that solution, iteratively take it to the market, and get the sense of interest in the market, and have paying customers, right? So that entire journey of starting from zero and taking it to one, as Peter Thiel would say, 0 to 1, was very interesting to me, right? That's when and I had the taste of being an entrepreneur in the last company that I worked. The next thing was to become an entrepreneur, right, and kind of do something
Yeah.
without the safety net of an organization and the salary, and kind of trying to go through the grind. And that's kind of how the bug really bit me.
Great, great, great. Thanks for giving a background about how you started as an entrepreneur. So now the second question is, I think when you graduated, you are having a separate startup called SMB Sure, and now when
Go ahead,
Sham, I
Nemi.
think.
Go ahead, Nemi.
Okay, okay, fine.
No, no, yeah,
So I think when you started incubated by Startup Incubator, you are having a SMB Sure, and then you eventually launched your new startup called GoFloaters. So how this idea of GoFloaters came in your mind, and what made you to start up this GoFloaters as an idea, and how you evolved this idea right from the initial stage. So you can give a background about how
yeah,
GoFloaters came as an idea
right,
for you
right.
to start up. Yeah.
Absolutely. So my first startup, like you said, right, and I think I already gave a hint, right. I was a technologist, and I was also working with a lot of insurance companies and as my clients, right. So my first startup was in the insurance space. I was actually SMB Sure that you talked about is actually an insurtech startup, and the idea that I was trying to work on with SMB Sure was to kind of make uh, insurance easy for SMBs, right? So and that is a huge problem even today, right? It's not solved, it's not being cracked yet, right? So
Right.
while policy bazaars and other kind of technology, insurance tech is there for individuals to purchase policies. There is no insurtech out there in India for SMBs, right? And SMBs have a I mean, as in nowadays, it's too complicated for them, right? So I want to kind of simplify that, make the whole process easy for them, right? I mean, from purchase to claims to everything, right? And
Right.
and as they say, right, opportunity kind of knocks your door. You just need to be having your ears open to listen to that knock, right? So while I was working on my first startup, SMB Sure, is when I was kind of meeting a lot of people, right? And like you said, you had training requirements for your teams. So I was meeting mentors, I was meeting advisors, I was recruiting for people for my team, right? I was meeting a lot of business owners to pitch my first idea of SMB Sure and all that, right? And in the process, this frustration that there is no drop-in workplace or a meeting space that you can kind of book and be there in the next 20 minutes and use that space without having to have the anxiety of whether the Wi-Fi will work, whether the AC would work, whether it will be too noisy, right? Whether you will actually get a seat when you go there, because I mean, the de facto choice was go to a Starbucks or go to a cafe coffee day, right? If you're a Chennai guy, if you're in Bangalore, it will be like a few more other outlets. If you're in Delhi, different kind of outlets. But net entrepreneurs and freelancers were kind of using cafe coffee day and Starbucks as their
Okay.
drop-in workspaces, right? And I was doing too. I was doing this for like 6, 7 months, 9 months, doing that. One, there's a lot of anxiety. You don't know whether the place is going to be there. You call your mentor for a meeting at Starbucks, but then you have to be there 1 hour earlier to ensure that the seat is reserved. You get a quiet corner, right? Right,
Yeah.
and then you check the Wi-Fi. You use, if you want to show your laptop and show them, then you ensure that your laptop is charged up in even. I mean, go for that duration of the meeting. So lot of things, right? So I want to kind of make, so that frustration kind of grew upon me and said, I mean, I was like kind of, then I started to search for solutions, right? So is there another way, is there another alternative way, right, to do this, right? So rather than relying on, and then imagine the coffee bill and then the sandwich bill and burger bill and all, right? So you're spending like 2000 rupees for a meeting for 2 hours. It didn't kind of
Right.
add up for me, right? So that's when I kind of started to look for solutions. I mean, can I book a space uh, like on demand and pay for just the time that I use it for, right? And it should be available in different parts of the city so that I can, one day I can be in Ananagar, another day I can be in Gindi, third day I can be in Velacheri, and I should be able to get a space for myself, right? Unfortunately, I didn't find any solutions built by other entrepreneurs. Uh, so it kind of urged me to build a solution for me. So initially, it is not a startup idea, it is not a business. I kind of was trying to solve my own personal problem. So I just partnered with 3 cafes in Chennai, north, south, uh, uh, and the center of Chennai, and said, "Hey, I'll come there. I'll use your space. I'll pay for the space, but I'll not order food. Right? Just give me the space, right?" And these are not
Right.
Starbucks and cafe coffee days, so they were happy, right? So they didn't have a lot of footfall during the weekdays. And I told them, he'll come, I'll bring another guest over. If the guest wants to order something, then we'll order. But otherwise, don't disturb us. We'll just have a meeting and we just want to like spend that time, use the space and leave. So that's how it started. It started as a personal hack, a solution for just me. Then I told a few friends from FI that, hey, this is what I do, right? And every smart person wants to show off what they do
Right.
smartly, right? So I started to, in a way, tell them, hey, this is what I do, right? And I said, hey, why not let me in also into this, right? I also want to use this. So slowly, just my personal solution became a WhatsApp group where people would message me if they want. 5 people knew, then 10 people knew, then like 3 months down the line, 100 people were kind of aware of
Right.
this and they were messaging me to book spaces in Chennai, right? That's when it kind of dawned on me that, hey, this is a problem that's worthy of spending more time in solving this, right? So it's not just a personal problem, like many people face this problem. Kind of the market test was proving that it made sense to invest my full time on it. So that's when I decided to kind of put a break on my first idea, which was not going anywhere, frankly speaking. So it was stuck in a lot of other regulatory things and all that. So I decided, hey, if I have to take something to the market and if I have to smell the rubber meeting the road, then I should work on something that I've already been able to prove some traction into, and that's how this kind of GoFloaters kind of was born.
Great, great, great. Thank you. I think you have given a complete history of how the GoFloaters started and how it all evolved over a period of time. So
So
now,
one point I
now,
would love to make here very quickly, Nami, is like
yeah.
GoFlow even happened only because of certain pieces of advice that I got from my mentors at FI, right? So in fact, you might also remember this, right? Uh, uh, there's a session at FI for how do you identify your customers, right? How do you
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
choose your
Yeah.
customers, right? So that actually, interestingly, that was the, while it did not help me in my first startup, it helped me in my second startup in a way that first, initially, when I was pitching SMB Sure, I was pitching to every business owner, right? From people who are having a running car workshops to carpentry workshops to people who are running textile stores to running provision stores. I was pitching SMB Sure to everybody, right? Every business owner, every SMB out there, right? But then this session of FI told me to choose one customer who can likely become your paying customer quickly, right? So
Okay.
narrow down, right? Narrow down your focus into one customer, right? Spotlight on one customer, right? That's when I, rather than pitching to every SMB out there, I started to pitch only to restaurant owners and cafe owners, right? And when I was pitching to restaurant and cafe owners, I would pass through the cafe, go to the MD's room or the director's room in the back of the cafe, I'll meet them, right? And walk back through the cafe or restaurant. That's when I saw that, hey, there's a lot of empty space that's not being utilized. And here I am, right? I need space to meet people, but then this restaurant is lying empty for the whole day. at least for the weekdays, right? So that's when like something that SMB Sure made me do to visit a lot of these cafes and restaurants, and because I focused on just that F&B segment for my SMB Sure startup, is when I was able to put the supply and demand together, right? So I mean, just want to kind of share that as well, because that's how the FI mentoring also helped me pivot into the second startup.
Okay, great, great, great. Thanks for giving this tip. So if you are someone watching live, please type in the comment section as GoFloaters so that that name get registered in your mind. So name itself is very catchy. But still, those who are watching live, please type in the comment as GoFloaters, the single word. I'll be giving a link separately also to for you to log in, and then you can able to explore your upcoming booking as well. So Sham, the next question to you is, how did you survive this COVID pandemic? So, a lot of companies suffered a huge setback during that time, and eventually, those who successfully evolved had to gone through a lot of tough challenges in their in that particular period of 2020 May to 2022 early. So, what are the strategies you adopted during those critical times to ensure that Go Floaters stay stubborn, and as an entrepreneur you are also going through those cash flow requirements and then meeting up your regular requirements to run this Go Floaters. So please tell about how you overcome the COVID challenge.
Yeah, I mean, so nothing to say. It is not. It was very tough for sure for every entrepreneur out there, and we certainly were, right. And specifically when we were dealing with physical spaces and you had lockdown, right. So you can't book a space, you can't be there. The building is locked down, city is under lockdown. You can't do much about it, right. So and we had the huge impact, right. We had to let go of a lot of team members because we frankly told them, hey, we can't pay your salaries for the next. I don't know, right? We don't know when we can start paying you salaries.
Right,
So it's your choice. If you want to stay, stay. If you want to leave, leave, right? So and then when things get better, we'll give you a call. So we had to let go of people. So no, I mean from I don't know, probably around 14, we came down to 4 people. So
right,
that was like we had to kind of. But then, I mean, the fact that everybody knew, right? Everybody in the team, we were transparent with them. There's no, and nobody knew, right? When is the lockdown going to get lifted? And
yes,
when wave one lockdown did get lifted, then we had wave two striking even more harder. So it was like kind
right,
of, we were not sure, right? So we told people, hey, this is the state. This is how
right,
much we have in the bank, right? We don't have revenues, so this is your choice, right? So this is what it is. So
right,
some people did stay back, right? So the 4 people that I'm talking about, they stayed back. They said, uh, "We're going to stay back, right? Come what may, we're going to be standing by the vision of co-floaters, right?" And that's like was super motivational for the founders, right? Me and my co-founder. So that's number one, right? Is to being transparent with your team during the heydays and the bad days. So first strategy was to kind of let people go, because you can't feed everybody, you can't kind of keep
yeah,
everybody. That was there, right? And we didn't want to waste their career, right? I mean, 6 months
yes,
they're not doing much, right? They might as well pick up another job, pick up something else, and hone their skills, right? Rather than
right,
just waiting for lockdown to get lifted. So now that's number one. Number two, I mean, I kind of say this without any amount of shame. Both me and my co-founder picked up alternative consulting engagements. So we started to work second shifts to uh, earn some money, right?
oh, okay, oh,
And
great,
fed that into to pay
the
the
startup,
salaries of the people who stayed, right? Because I mean, zero revenue is zero, right? And bank account was really literally zero, right? So, but we
right,
still had to pay salaries for 4 people. So the only way we could do that is to pick up other engagements. And fortunately, both of us coming from an experience background, so we could get some engagements, uh, consulting gigs. So we worked like 20 hours extra every week on other engagements to make money and put that money into GoFloaters to pay the salaries
right,
of people. I mean, that's you had to do that, right? It's a survival. But the one thing I would say, like the root cause to all of this is like we knew that post COVID, uh, GoFloaters would have a better time, right? Because we were talking about remote, we were talking about flexible working, we were talking about work wherever, work from anywhere, and all of this was getting more. COVID was making that true, right? People were working from home, right? The companies had become remote. They had put policies and strategies and technology to make people work from anywhere. So we knew that GoFloaters would have a better chance post COVID, right? So the only commitment that we made to all of us, I mean, the four people who stayed and the two co-founders, is like, we're going to survive come what may, right? The only goal for the next X number of months to a year is to survive, right?
Right.
And we'll survive somehow or other, because we were very very confident that the light at the end of the tunnel was even more brighter than it was before COVID, right?
Okay.
So I would say we've somehow survived, right? So
Great, great, great.
yeah.
Thanks. I think that's a commendable job you both founders has done, because I haven't started a startup and going back on doing your expertise. So working extra times to earn this income and then feeding your employees is really commendable, because you believed on that mission that GoFloaters at one point of time will have a lot of traction, and you need to just pass on this tough time. So that's a great insight, I would say, and thanks for making it happen. And now I think the market has opened back, and now the requirements are booming up, and you have a lot of opportunities to scale up to great levels. So now let me get into the next questions. Like, let's go back to prior to COVID also. So like when you started this co-floater, so how did you get your initial 100 customers? Because my specialization is I'm helping entrepreneurs to acquire their initial 100 customers and to set up their sales system. So to just to help them to see that how you acquired initial customers, can you just briefly tell like how your 100 customers came to your platform?
See, again, like, I mean, I think I briefly touched upon this, right? So
Yeah, I think you touched
it
upon
didn't
it.
start.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't start as a startup, right? It didn't start as a business, right? It was a solution that I was helping my friends meet some of their challenges, right? So
Right.
and it slowly grew, right? So from five people in FI, then people like you spread the good word to other people.
Right.
So it kind of kept on growing, and suddenly, like, 3 months after that WhatsApp number group was created, there were around 100 bookings that we had in that 3 month period. Right? A lot of, so, and again, this is where networking kind of helps quite a bit, right? So I used to be, I mean, as an entrepreneur, as the first time entrepreneur, I was very very uh, uh, unsure of many things.
Right.
Like, I was not very confident on many things, right? So I used to attend a lot of events to
Okay.
gain knowledge, and that's why even I joined FI in the first place, right? Even though I had like X number of years of career, I mean, corporate experience, I knew that very little of that is going to be useful in the entrepreneurial journey, right? So which is why I kind of joined FI even, right? So attending a lot of events, right? So and in uh, uh, consequentially, a lot of network I had built, right, by attending
Right.
these events, getting introduced to people, knowing people, right? So, and I would, I mean, at a coffee break or at a post event networking event, I would tell people, hey, this is what I do, right? SMB sure, and then I do this, right? So uh, so that's how the first 100 customers actually happened. There was
Right.
no, in fact, we didn't have a website. There was no website. There was no social media
Okay.
page. Nothing was there, right? So it was just pure old school, telling people in person,
Right.
right? And good friends passing the word to other people, right?
Right.
And it could happen only because this is a problem that was to be solved, right? If and people were willing to pay money to be for that problem to be solved, right? Because that's like they say, right? A PMF or product market fit, right? If right, so you can push a product into the market, right? But if your product gets pulled by the market, it's even better, right? And in a way, in the initial days, the product was pulled by the market said, hey, I want this
Yes.
solution, right? So give me this solution, right? So that's how the first 100 customers even happened. So we didn't actually, so I would say, like, I was a salesperson, right, going to events,
Right.
to learn, to gain knowledge, and to build a network. And through the network, started to tell people a lot of referrals. In fact, the first 100 customers, I would say, like, I mean, all of them would be referrals only, right? So
Yeah.
somebody who got to know, somebody would message me saying that, hey, my friend is looking for a meeting room. He's a Six Sigma trainer. He wants to have a training session. Yeah, fine, I'll help them, right? So a lot of that happened. And a lot of people came forward to say, hey, I've got empty space. Would you like to list my empty space? And
Yeah. That
right.
requirement also that up. Yeah.
So all through network, I would say. So nothing,
Great. Great.
no
Great.
sales strategy per se. I mean, old school sales, basically.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Yeah. I personally have seen you coming to various sessions, like other than FI. I've seen you. We used to meet in Startup Saturday, Startup Weekend, TIE, and that I think that type of uh, uh, the spreading into the market itself, I think would have initiated, because everybody was wanting the solution to come up. So everybody was wanting that office space is required, and that has definitely would have. So the next question is, I think we are almost 25 minutes past. I think we'll wind up with our last two questions. So, what are the sales strategies? I think you are expanding to other cities as well, and I think you are getting funding from Tamil Nadu government also. Like, what are the sales strategies you are adopted or planning to adopt to take your startup from wherever level you are to a greater level? So, what
Yeah.
sales strategies you are planning to adopt?
So now, I mean, our post-COVID, we've become more of a B2B platform than a B2C platform. So initially it was a B2C platform. So there's more of marketing than sales involved, right? So we did a lot of content marketing, SEO oriented marketing. So anyway, so
Right.
now we are focused more on sales because our customers are corporate customers and startups. Like startups of every size, right? So we have more than 100 plus startups of from 5 members to 25 members size, and we have a few large companies, 1,000 employees, 2,000 employees, kind of companies, right? So so we are more into sales now than ever before. So the first thing is like is I think a few things that we did right is like not to outsource sales right away. So one,
Right.
because founders kind of we spoke to customers, we set up those meetings, we reached out, so we were constantly experimenting, right? So this email copy, that email copy, uh, right, different kinds of reach out patterns through LinkedIn, through email, through personal introductions. So one is the founders doing it because without you knowing what it is to sell your product, you can't give it off to somebody else, right? So that's one thing, right? Second thing is like the network I talked about, right? So building a network. So by the time that we had pivoted into the B2B model, we already had a decent network to tap into, right? So in terms of asking for introductions, so for example, we got introduced to a lot of CFOs and CEOs of companies through introductions, through mentors, through other people, right? Yeah, I know that person, right? I can introduce you. So building a lot of building that network and using that to your advantage is something that I think we did. I mean, I wouldn't say, I'm not saying that we did great, but we certainly did that, and there's still scope for doing better than that. But we did crack a few deals through purely using the network to get introduced to people. Because I mean, a new startup, a new idea with a lot of don't, it's not doesn't have a lot of um, how do you say it, proven things. You need trust, right? People, clients need to trust you, and you need to earn that trust initially, and then use that trust to transfer it to other clients. So that's the thing, right? And constantly, like I said, experimenting, right? So we would set up an email campaign, look at the results, constantly keep tweaking, right? Constantly kind of understand what, see, as a startup founder, you know what your product does, right?
Yeah.
And you have an idea of how others will use your product, but then that need not be 100% accurate, right? In the sense that clients might see your product to be solving a different problem for them than you think of, right? So constantly understanding uh, what does it actually mean, right? So what does your product actually solve for them? What pain does it solve for them? It's a constant journey, and again, depending on the stakeholder that you're talking to, the problems become different, right? Because we've
Right.
initially, in the initial days, we found out that our B2B for sales, CHROs were our primary point of contact because they were formulating the remote work policies, work from home policies. So, and they were solving a lot of for the human problem. That people were feeling lonely, people were not having internet connections, right? So a lot of people problems are being solved. So initially, our audience was CHROs, so we had to tweak our sales pitches to HR audience, right? But then as time progressed, it was more CEOs and CFOs because then they're looking at cost optimization. That, hey, how can I reduce my office footprint and still be able to deliver, still be productively able to deliver, right?
Right.
So, and now it's become an organization-wide strategy, right? So being remote or hybrid remote, right? So it's now cutting across multiple layers. So a lot of
Right.
influences. So anyway, the point is like constantly understanding what language and what problems. How to kind of how to kind of message that to the audience that you're trying to sell this to has been a constant learning curve and experience, right, for us. And we still do. And last but not least, you as founders and as specifically as early stage entrepreneurs, you are a part and parcel of the company's brand, right? So you are a brand ambassador, you are the primary salesman. So I've repurposed my LinkedIn profile to become a work from anywhere champion or work from anywhere uh, uh, proponent, right? So, and if you look at my LinkedIn post, I talk about more about advantages of remote and how other companies are solving different problems. So I think kind of, and your entire persona kind of gets, you have to take that role of being
Right.
that somebody who kind of believes in that vision and is kind of there to help people come along in the journey, right? So I think those would be the simple, I don't know, not complex sales strategy and all that. We just like doing what feels right,
Yeah.
and constantly learning, like I said, constantly experimenting, constantly learning. And predominantly our channels have been mostly inbound so far. Actually, people have discovered us through the good SEO work that we've done, content marketing work that we've done. Right, we used to do a lot of such events before, also, as you may let me know, right? So a lot of that, building that network, like I said, and also uh, becoming, I mean, personification of the brand of
Great.
GoFloaters is what we've been able to do that.
Great. I think a lot of insights you have shared to all our audience. So that's what is required. Like when you share your experience, definitely I think it will add value to the entrepreneurs and business owners who are watching live. So the final question before we end up is, if you want to say one tip to entrepreneurs and business owners who are watching live, so what is that one tip you would give to them to ensure that they are able to grow their business sale consistently, and over a period of time they are able to grow exponentially? So what is the one tip you can able to give you before we wind up the session?
So I think the first one tip, okay. So one tip is like, know
One or two
exactly who
tips,
your,
whatever is that. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So know exactly who your customer is, right, in the organization, right. So not necessarily that for every solution or every idea, specifically for B2B, the CEO is the buyer of the solution, right? So different people hold the, so know who that customer is within that organization is, right? So is it the CFO, is it the head of admin, is it the head of facility management, is it the head of HR, and even within HR, is it the people function, or is it the uh, process and policies function? So depending on what your idea is, like, know who that customer is, right? And because that's what is going to get you the maximum return of investment, number one. Number two tip I would say is persistence. uh,
Right.
be very persistent, because I mean, you probably convert 1 in 20, 1 in 30, right? But right, that's the game, right? That's the,
Right.
you can't like kind of, so for some of the customers that we won today, I think we've been persistently hitting them for almost a year and a half, right? So talking to them constantly, kind of being engaged with them, and then we've converted them now, right? And again, because primarily the decision making was delayed because of COVID and all that. So I'm not saying that uh, the problem was like they didn't know when to start hybrid work policy, right? How, when to put it into effect. But anyway, so being persistent, knowing your customer, is probably, I think, the two most things, that important things that have worked for us.
Great. Thank you, Shyam. I think that's a great tip you have given. So, viewers, please give a hats off to Shyam, because his words of wisdom definitely would help you to take up your startup and entrepreneur journey moving forward. So, thank you, Shyam, for tuning in and accepting my invitation, and having given a lot of insights about how you grow your startup and how you want to take it forward with all the sales strategies. So, to all viewers, so just to summarize, the GoFloaters is a platform wherein you can able to book any slot whatever required, like 2 hours, 3 hours, or 4 hours slot at the convenience of your location. Suppose if I'm going to Anna Nagar, and if I want to have a meeting at Anna Nagar, so I can just get into the platform, just find out what are the available spaces, and I just quickly book it, make a payment, and then the platform will show you the map. It will give you a map also where you need to travel, and you can able to directly sit there and then complete your meeting and come off. So within a short spend of 600 rupees or 750 rupees, you can have a peaceful meeting. I have experienced myself, because when we go to a coffee shop, we used to spend 300, 400 rupees, but eventually a lot of noise will be there. But if you go to a GoFlutter platform, so you can eventually get that ambience that you are working in your own company. So that's a good platform. So get used to it, and I would highly recommend GoFloaters platforms to all the entrepreneurs who want to have a business meeting, either a business meeting or give a training or internal team meetings. You can definitely have at the platforms. So I will give a link for that particular website in the below comment section. So please go ahead and watch it, and then utilize the platform which is available right now in Chennai, Nama Chennai. So thank you, Shyam, so for tuning in.
Chennai and 39 other cities also.
Oh, sorry,
So
Chennai. I
your
think I'm
audience
still
is a
the
global audience, yeah.
right,
Yeah,
yeah.
40
So
cities
thanks,
in India
thanks.
total. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for telling it. So GoFloaters is available in Chennai and other 39 cities. So wherein you can able to log in and find out which city you are in. It could be Hyderabad or any cities wherever you are. So you can utilize that facility, which is very much required for a startup founder and a startup business. Thank you, Shyam. So just to reiterate, I'll be coming online every week, bringing successful entrepreneurs and give you tips. So watch my profile and watch my post, so which I'll be highlighting for every week. Thank you, Shyam. Thank you tuning in. So have a
Yeah,
great
thanks. I mean,
day, great
thanks for
success.
bringing such such people to talk to your audience, because I think that's what I believe, right? You got to learn different things from different people. So thanks for doing that. And again, uh, uh, anything but for an FI friend. So thank you.
Yes, yeah, we are proud FI graduates, and definitely that should we should make FI Chennai proud also by propagating the idea of the ecosystem available in Chennai and the business also. Thank you,
Awesome.
Shyam.
Take care.
Let's
Have a
catch
good
up
day.
live.
Bye bye.
Yeah, bye bye.
Bye bye.
See you.